Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing? We have a really awesome episode today. We are on with Mr. Elvis to talk about pursuing your passion. I know, like, during the pandemic, it's kind of crazy times right now. And so we felt that this topic was really pertinent and like relevant to what's going on, and kind of just hope to inspire some of you and hearing his story. And so please help us share this. It's a beautiful day outside today, but we know we want to get this message wide and far. We want to have Elvis share his story and hope to inspire most of you as well. And so, if you're watching live
How's
with
everyone
us,
doing?
please make sure that you help share this live. And while Callie is kind of sharing this with some of the other groups and on her Facebook page, I'll give you guys a quick update on some of the stuff that we've been working on. Hello. All right, so we've got 27 people joining us right now. Thank you all. I know it's beautiful outside. You could be doing other things, but thank you for tuning in. A couple things while Kelly's sharing, like I said, y'all know we launched our virtual introduction on our YouTube channel. So please go like and follow, subscribe. We have lots more stuff coming up that's actually going to be released this week. So please make sure that you subscribe so you can get the notification. And I do want to clear something. I've been reading a lot of messages or comments, and a lot of people are thinking that these virtual introductions are dates. They're not. They are literally the first time that these two are meeting each other. And so, I feel like there is going to be a little bit of like awkwardness, right? Because it's the first time they're meeting each other. So just keep that in mind. But we have the dates coming up soon. We've got the first group speed date coming up tomorrow. And it's our first time kind of facilitating that as well. So Kelly and I are learning as well. And we had a lot of fun doing it. And that will be posted up tomorrow on our YouTube channel. So make sure that you subscribe. So again, you get the notification for that. The other thing is also we are continuously always still looking for more sponsors. We're always trying to make the show in itself and the Finding Love with Charm series the best it can be. And so the only way to do that is if we have funding. And so we're continuously looking for sponsors. So if you know someone who could potentially sponsor us, please DM us or have them DM us. We would love to have a chat and just kind of provide what type of packages that we have. We love the support. We also now have a PayPal. Kelly and I have received a lot of messages from all of you on how can you donate other than being a supporter to pay the $4.99 subscription a month. Or become a sponsor. Maybe, it's too much for you, or you just want to do like a one-time support thing. So we have to, after kind of like deliberating a little bit about what should we not, we decided to go ahead and create a PayPal for all that talk. And so now we have that available. In one of our posts, I put our QR code on the Canva, but you guys can also find us using our email, which is admin@allthattalkshow.com on PayPal, and you can donate whatever dollar amount you feel you can. We truly appreciate every dollar you send us. I think that, Callie and I, we have been doing this for almost a year now, actually. Our anniversary is 2 days.
First video.
Yeah, our anniversary is in 2 days since we've gone live. And so I think this is a great celebration. We have just really appreciated the journey of you guys being on this journey with us. And so, again, anything you can donate would help us tremendously, just to provide quality content and also making sure that the Finding Love with Charm series is amazing. I know most of you have commented on how great it would be if they were to see each other in person and go on dates. We're actively trying to make that happen. And so we hope that, in a few weeks or a month and a half or so, we have enough funding to make that happen, and Charm would get to see some of these men in person. So, and you can help make that happen. So anything you can provide will help. Also, the Supporter Hub, we have, I think we are now finished uploading all of our one-on-one getting to know our contestant videos. And, we had gone live last week with two of our fans, Jen and Karen, and they talked so much about how awesome the videos are. And so if you have not become a supporter yet, we highly encourage you to. We always try to provide exclusive content there for the supporters. And so that's another thing for you guys as well. Two last things. We have the meme giveaway. We've gotten a lot of funny people sending in their memes. And so we will be posting that up soon so you guys can kind of react or like or love the one that you think is the funniest or the one that resonates with you more. And of course, that person then will win a $100 gift card, Amazon gift card. And there's still a chance to enter, right? So for those of you who have not seen the giveaway, it's you editing or photoshopping your photo side by side with Charm and sending that meme to us. And so it could be really a photo of you just like Callie and I now, or it could be a photo of you. We've had some really funny ones. Her, shout out to him, doing laundry and sweeping, some funny memes, right? And so be creative with it. Send it to us. We'll let our audience members vote, and you get to win a $100 Amazon gift card. And the last.
So that ends. Did you already say that ends?
No.
Tomorrow. Nope. And then we will announce that on our April 1st episode, which Olivia is going to talk about right now.
Yeah. So we have a special fun episode we've got coming up with one of our contestants for our Finding Love with Charm. We have found that he had this really special talent and we wanted to challenge him. And so he is going to be coming on with Callie and I, and we're also still looking for two guests to kind of come on and do this challenge with us. We thought it would be fun. And so we will announce the winner on April 1st at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you've still got time to submit your meme giveaway. We will announce it then. And that episode should be really fun because we've got some announcements to make and things of that nature. So please join us if you can. Or, if you really want to be a part of the challenge, like DM us as well. We're still looking. And with that, I know that's a lot of stuff, but you know what? If you are tuning in later on and you're missing this, that's okay. We'll repeat it a little bit later as well. But I will pass the torch over to Callie to really shine light on what our topic is today and bring on our guests so we can get the show started.
Okay. I'm going to address two questions from our audience. So my hair might get darker. I think it's the lighting. And then the challenge New Tao is asking, so it has to do with your tongue. And so if you want to join in this fun challenge, just know that it involves your tongue and it's not anything silly or stupid. It's a fun thing. And again, like Olivia said, it's one of the talent that when we were talking with one of our contestants, he told us about this. We thought, well, what better way than to involve our audience and to just showcase what talent is, but having, two of y'all to help us with that. And so hopefully that sounds enticing enough. We don't want to completely give away, but I promise you it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay. So our guest today is a special one. And, I think that with everything that's happened, it is it's quite hard, I think, to stay super motivated. And so this guest was like a perfect person to kind of talk about this due to just his work in the past. And so he starred in Warner Brothers motion picture Gran Torino alongside Clint Eastwood and has been in film working with Bai Ling, Sean Astin, and Madison Davenport on commercial and print projects. He is an activist and is the co-founder of the global nonprofit Miracle Comeback and has sponsored recreational programs and is involved in a lot of charities and volunteer work. He is a graduate of Public Allies America Corps 2009 and has a certificate in the Philanthropy Incubator Project at Cardinal Stritch University. He's appeared in many publications, radio stations, and news media. CNN Magazine, New York Times, Fox, NBC, CBS, just to name a few. He is an artist, rapper, singer, songwriter, and guitarist, and was a member of the rock and roll band The Creatives, and also the rap group Rare of Shaolin Entertainment, based out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He's worked alongside A-list artists including Kanye West, Ludacris, Twista, Pharrell Williams, Black Eyed, and many other artists. He's now currently pursuing directing and producing on behalf of his production company, Hand Sewn Productions, which is based out of Los Angeles, California. So I'm going to play one of his songs quick before we bring him on. And you guys might know, if you know this song, please comment what the song title is.
Or give us some help.
That's how we do it, baby. Rare. Check it out.
Love it. Welcome, Elvis. How are you?
That was great. I'm doing good.
Good. Well, thank you.
I feel like the red carpet just rolled out. I'm like, hey.
You know, I love that song.
Ring, ready to box. Like, yeah, this is my theme song.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I love that song. I know I've shared with you before. My husband and I, we used to jam to that song a lot. So it definitely brings back lots of memories. But thank you for being available to chat with Callie and I today. We really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a lag there. So just please bear with us.
Okay. All right. So, shall we get started?
We'll make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel good.
Okay. So, I think me and everybody else is really.
Oh, Callie, I think you froze. So Elvis, I'll continue on with the question. I think what Callie was trying to say was, you know, I think growing up, you know, we're all really we love listening to the Rare's music, but I also feel like a lot of times we don't really know you. We see you on stage, we hear your music, we know some of the work that you do, but what were you like as a kid and teenager growing up?
Oh yeah, we were starting with the childhood stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get asked that a lot, so that's interesting. I'm really gonna have to delve back into that, and haven't been asked that in a while. But no, I was always well. I mean, I grew up with all sisters, so I am the baby and the only boy, and so I think I got the best of both worlds. You know. Both feminine and masculine. You know, I was predominantly a female in my household, and so it wasn't later until, you know, almost my teenage years. You know, once I turned, I was raised in Modesto, California, and so by the time I was about 8, I finally got to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and that's when I started, you know, being around the guys more, and they. You know, they toughened me up a little bit, and that's kind of where, you know, I got my, you know, my swag and my toughness from, you know, and it was with the guys from Rare. Tommy and Joe are like childhood friends of mine. But other than that, you know, I grew up with my sisters, and, you know, it was a bit tough, you know. Didn't have a big brother to back me up, so, you know, it was always my sister speaking for me when I needed it. So much power to them, you know. Love all my sisters, and I don't just mean my direct sisters, but you sisters as well. Very, you know, I consider myself a feminist. I think a lot of males in our community need to learn and tap more into the feminist side. I'm gonna tell you how that helped my career a lot. Actually, we'll delve into that a little later. So much power to that. But I don't know. I was always young and adventurous. You know, I wasn't really much of a homebody. I wasn't into video games. I spent most of the time outdoors. I was kind of I don't know. It's kind of like I like to mine a lot. I like to like look for things. I'm always like I would discover like the weirdest objects, like just digging in the sand, like I'd find jewelry, I'd find, like all types of things that I would bring home, and I would just hoard things, and I don't know. People always thought I was weird, but I spent a lot of time outside and just always exploring, and so I've always had that kind of adventurous spirit. That's
Yeah.
much my childhood until it got a little ugly, being around gangs and drugs and all that kind of stuff in my teenage years, struggling with high school and things like that, and I was not graduating and stuff like that. But yeah, I think throughout my teenage years, yeah, I just really got really grimy, and that led me into. And I got into a lot of sports, soccer, basketball, and it led me to the music eventually, with all the boys and stuff. My career began from there. But childhood was simple. It was a simple life. Wasn't
Good.
anything too crazy except the fact that I was just always out there.
Yeah.
So I have a question, Elvis. So is that,
Yeah.
You said that you were a curious child. So was that like from your parents? Like were your sisters just also curious? Like what was the influences around you?
Well, I'll say this: I was never much of a dreamer when I was young. You would think that came from somewhere, and that's why I'm so ambitious now. I didn't have any childhood aspirations. I didn't. I wasn't a big dreamer. I didn't know what I wanted to be. I didn't, I didn't really have any, goals and mindset. Even childhood goals, right? Even though they're different from adult goals, but I don't know. My childhood was pretty stagnant. It was a very normal childhood.
Yeah.
But it was just that constant search, and I don't know where that came from. So no, I. I'm kind of the black sheep in my family. Everyone, all my sisters, they got degrees. They're married, and they got good careers and take care of themselves and their family. I'm not married yet. I'm in my 30s. Never really dated. Kind of just been slow all my life and about and doing my thing and following my dreams and passions. I don't know where that came from. It didn't start till I got out of high school. I don't want to say school sucks or anything. I do encourage school, but it just wasn't giving me the education that I need because I move at a different speed. I'm a different species, right? So I think it was hard to be compelled, or when I felt trapped in other people's systems the whole life and wasn't as authentic like me. So once I found music at age 17, I think that all changed. And then, my education level, my activity, things that I wanted to do, the way I operated was completely different. So it was just like a shift. No idea. Didn't
Yeah.
come from my parents or anyone in my household. No one does what I do in my household. So I'm the only one that, yeah. I'm always missing the holidays and I'm never around. Don't see my nieces and nephews grow. It's a burden sometimes, but
Yeah.
it's a choice. So I make that decision.
Yeah.
So talk to us about the music, like being in rare creatives.
Yeah, I think, man, people like, one thing, when I was getting hired a lot to do public speeches and stuff, I think, people want more of the career aspect out of me, and that's fine. I don't mind giving that, but my focus has always been internal. You know what I mean? What gave light to, I guess, the plight of my career is, people always say, they would always admire the spirit, more than anything. I mean, what people felt I was gifted and talented or not, whether they felt like, I was the best at what I did, but it's like they couldn't keep away from me just because there was like, there's something to you, man. You just, you bring about this different type of energy, and so I think that's one thing that I always talk about more is that kind of self-discovery, that kind of other voice, that stillness, being able to listen and give things up, and your habits and things like that, and manifesting, and just vibrating at levels that you understand. So I think we just need to quiet the voices and shut things down. And because I was supposed to, my counselor in high school, I was in like detention every single day. Like I my high school days were just not good. I graduated with a 1.8, right? D minus. I barely made it. Like 99% of my friends didn't make out of high school. I technically shouldn't have, but I just pulled through, right? They wanted to take me to an alternative school. I said no. I'd rather not graduate. So I put my foot down on that. My counselor didn't kick me out after all. Kept me graduated. He wanted to be me a welder, promised me a 2-year degree, and I said, nah, I'm gonna go do music. And so, I don't know. I just followed my intentions. You know what I mean? I don't know. And then I found Joe, which was my older cousin, first cousin, and rest in peace to Joe. He passed away now. Passed away 2 years ago from cancer, but he is the guy that made me. At age 17, I was lost. Again, just was in that life where I was just always hanging out and doing nothing. And the minute I discovered Joe, he took me under his wing, and I learned everything I got from him. As I said in one of my lyrics, God took the teacher and it was a student he left. So
Yeah.
now it's my turn to teach and lead. So I hope I take my people somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that vulnerable story.
Oh, and then the creatives came a little after. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
No. I'm done there. I want you to continue.
So I'm curious, like, how did you guys come up with the name Rare? Because I always joke about how hard it is to say, and like just even the name itself. Like, how did you guys come up with that?
Yeah, first of all, feel free to. I'm trying to cut my conversations short. I love it when the hosts lead. I feel like I resonate more with that. I love it when I believe communication is listening first, right? So instead of me going off on a tantrum, I love that. Hey, give them the control, let them get out of the way, and and I let myself absorb that, and it feels more natural to me. But anyways, coming from that, Rare was something Joe created, man. He just thought it was really rare what we were doing, and when he was doing it alone, it was cool. It was his own thing, and he really felt that and gravitated to that. But once I came into the picture, and then Thompson came into the picture, and Joe was just kind of like this thing, he thought about rhythm and rapping eternally. So that's the acronym for that. So at that point, we stuck with it. We thought it was simple, it was easy, and it was factual. And yeah, especially it was rare for Mungs at the moment, right? There wasn't a lot of rap groups. I think before us, the only group was STX, and their career was short lived, and they were from France, so they were out of the country. So we were really one of the first one to really highlight it. People would say we pioneered the game, right? So it was rare for the Hmong community. But aside from that, we discovered even more that that wasn't where the rarity was. It was actually in the general audience. So as we took our music more publicly, more mainstream, specific to like all black artists, sometimes was like, they were the ones like, yeah, that's really rare. So they're like, who are these guys running around rapping, pants sagging, big bag of jeans, and 40 ounces, and just killing it on stage. And it was just like, it just kind of came a thing. And what was probably most rare was when they would start singing our songs. We didn't mean for Hmong Ton T to have a universal impact. But, all of a sudden my black buddies started coming to me, yo, drop the whole shit, man, sing that song. Like, make sure you sing. And so they didn't know how to say it. So they would say, drop the whole shit. That's just how they said it. So so now we in this audience is just playing that song that we never thought would even pass. And eventually that song did and ignited a flame in other communities, and eventually Gran Torino picked it up too in this track. So I not only did I get an actor credit, I also got a music credit for that. Yeah. So rare.
So what did you like what did you use as, or what inspired you, like when you guys are writing your music for Rare, if you were a part of that writing the music, or just like, because when people write it and you create it and you sing it or you rap it, what kind of inspired you to be who you are, like on stage or off stage?
Yeah, see, this is a tough question. And I say that because, some things come very naturally. It's hard for us to explain. If you had asked me where it came from, I'd tell you I have no clue. Blame God, he gave me the gift. But because it's not like I implemented it from my childhood. You got to understand, this success came overnight. I was never a writer. I never did anything musically, never touched instruments, did a little choir and, in middle school or whatever, maybe, but it wasn't a career path at all. It was just like, I seen Joe perform for the first time. I told Joe I want to do it. I made a tape. I gave it to Joe. Within a week, we were on stage. I didn't even start writing it. I was just freestyling, right? And normally that's kind of tough. You kind of want to write. You kind of write and then you delve into the freestyling. I was just like, okay, freestyle, let's go. Live audience. There was a couple hundred people there. I mean, it just happened. So I don't know. I don't have the traditional way of teaching it. People say, how do you prevent writer's block? And I'm just like, I just never had it. So I don't know how Michael Jordan, Floyd Mayweather, I don't know how these guys do it neither. I think the struggle is the maintaining of it. You know what I mean? So I think it's propelling and progressing and always growing and maturing and doing more and being better is the thing I can teach more. But as far as the inspiration, I don't know. I mean, specifically, I guess I can say my people, right? The invisibility of us. I think I was, if anything, I was always a small guy. So I always thought maybe I felt like my mind was bigger than my body. And so maybe it was just me trying to push that as well. Like, I'm tired of being a small guy. And so my ideas had to be bigger than life, right? My words had to matter if my physical presence didn't. So and maybe things like that. But I think with writer's block is just a personal experience. I think the more you read, the more you explore, the more people you're around, the more you engage. It's funny how people sit home all the time, do nothing, binge watch TV and binge eat and stuff, and then say, "How do you get inspired to write?" Well, why don't you leave the house? So that's just that's my advice.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
So how did you, so when you talked about, because that song was in Gran Torino. So did they put that song in there because they knew that you were part of that and they liked, having that song, or how did that come about?
Yeah, see, I'm very, I think I'm very professional, but I tend to be very subtle in my approach. I don't like to hound people. I see value in me, and therefore I see value in others. And so what happened on that set was I did my job as an actor. I didn't push the music on anybody. I decided that let me do my job first. Let me come here to do what I came to do and what I was paid to do. And eventually I got really close to the producer. And towards the end of the set, I just said, "Hey, man, if you're ever looking for music, I do music too." I wasn't really afraid of, oh, what if I lose my chance? It's like, bro, take it easy. Don't bombard him, And so eventually he was just like, "Oh, that's cool, man," and just gave me his email. And I just did what anybody else would do, like at a networking event. I just approached him, and just told him, and I waited at the right time. I didn't, make it pressuring. And so for you people who can feel like, like, take it slow. Like, people are more respectful and they appreciate stuff like that more. I do get like the Eminem song "Lose Yourself," right? You do have to lose yourself in the moment, and also take a chance when you have it. But actually, there's also this balance of like, be careful when and when not to. But yeah, and so I actually sent him like 10 different songs. 9 of them were like all in English, and that was only one song in Hmong, and that was the one he wanted. He's like, "Nah, that one, that's the one." It's like, okay, cool. So he took our main song, which was neat.
Love it.
That's amazing that you.
Yeah, that was not planned at all. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just love that you took the chance to speak about, like your background. I think that a lot of times we get, scared to talk about things that we do. So I think, right, if you had not spoken up, the song would have never been in the movie.
Yep.
Oh, one thing I want to add too, and that's the thing. That's what's special about sticking around sometimes. You know what I mean? Because most people do their work and they leave, and that's fine. It's up to you. I do that sometimes, depending on my agenda. But that's one thing I learned with Joe, the leader of Group Rare, was that the more time I spent with him, the more I learned, and the more opportunities I gave myself to grow. He gave me the ears to really listen. That's why I produce so well now, because I sat with him in the studios when me and Tommy would do our parts, we'd be 8 hours in, and we can go home, and he's there for 12 hours. I would sit with him throughout the 12 hours. We would learn. We would listen to the same snare, same riff, over and over and over for like hours. Like it was really fatigue, but I didn't mind because I was growing, and so, and when we do shows, I like to stick around. If I'm not the talent, I like to be there for the talent. You know what I mean? If like I'm still a fan, a consumer. It's not about me and then walk off. So, I think stuff like that has played to my advantage because people, you know, um, people see me sticking around and they appreciate that. And sometimes opportunities open up. So, and I love spending time on set because I like to direct and I like to produce as well. So why, if I'm not doing anything, why not just stay and discover how they work behind the camera and get stronger as a person? So that was very important for you people in the future who want to get to showbiz. Appreciate the art for what it is. You know what I mean? Like really want to delve into it.
Yeah. Love.
So, question on, just learning about the film Gran Torino and trying out for it. What was that like?
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna stick too long on this topic, but um, Gran Torino was see, I was at a stage in my life where Red was breaking up, and it's not like I was an A-lister or anything by any means, but even just that small popularity that I had garnered became very overwhelming. I had a balance between life and lifestyle, right? Like my personal life, and so it was really draining. I feel like there was too much attention. I felt like I don't know, it just wasn't me, the fame and the glitz and the glamour, the popularity. And it was, I was kind of in that mode of winding down. I wasn't not sure if I wanted to continue showbiz. But when Gran Torino popped up, I practically said no. I turned it away. I turned it away till like the last minute, man. And people kept convincing me, like, Elvis, this is your shot, take it. And it was in Minnesota. I live in Milwaukee, so I took a 5-hour drive up there. If I had stuck to my normal routine, it was a Friday night. My friends were throwing a house party. I was right on the couch. It was like, nighttime, and the guys were stepping in. The drinks were getting bubbly. It was ready to pour it up, and you know what I mean. There was probably girls coming, and it was probably another just crazy Friday night, right? Where I probably would have been like, nah, I'm a chill and party, But I didn't. For some reason, I did tell the guys, let's just all go and let's do this, and nobody wanted to. It was I just had, I don't know what it was. I separated myself and I left. I left to St. Paul, Minnesota that night. I called my sister up. I wasn't working. I was dead broke. She gave me like $200-300, just enough to take the trip. I couldn't afford a hotel. I slept in my car. And I don't know, man. I don't know what was going through me. I drove 5 hours with no music, just talking to myself. I took the audition the next day, got the call back, and Sunday I got seen again. I went home and didn't get a call until a month later. I don't know. I didn't understand it all, but it just worked out.
So when you audition, what did they have you do?
Yeah, so I mean, I got picked out of like over 1,000 people. Mind you, this is my first time doing film, so for people who don't know, like this wasn't something I was ready or prepared for. It was just had to be naturally me, and this had a lot to do with my training afterwards too, because I had to learn how to be organic. Because sometimes you train, you get mechanical, and I feel like I became more unauthentic the more I was learning. When it was like, well, how did you book your gig originally? By just being you naturally, right? So I was always enough, I felt like, but I had to be careful to train, not to overtrain and take away my authenticity. But so I didn't really know the procedure. I walked in, I just did what they had me do. They what they call sides, which is a part of the script, like a page of it. Went in, and I don't know. I mean, it was just I used my artistic abilities, what I knew from music, right? And took that, and I don't know. I just performed like it was a stage, and I just gave them me, and so that's the process, man. Long lines, like if you've seen like the American Idol, that they put on film with thousands of people, lining up outside and things like that. So that's kind of sorry about that. So that's kind of the thing there, I took a shot. Didn't know what I was doing. You don't need to know what you're doing to make it happen, man. It's all willpower.
That's right. I love that. Yeah.
So like So did you say they have to say a line, or like what exactly, I'm trying to go back to that moment, right? Of like, what exactly
Yeah.
do they have to do or say or act out?
Uh-oh. Elvis, I think you might have froze. Sorry, guys. Technical issues here.
It's like very fresh to me, that movie, because I just watched it very, very recently. Do you remember when I watched it? And
Yeah.
I think it's, I mean, I feel like the gangster part felt very natural, you know, to like, I mean, I think because we all grew up kind of like that, right? And so I think it feels very natural. And so I think, you know, I'm just really curious when you know, when the directors and whatnot like had them do it, exactly do they have to do, right? Because like if it's just like in their mind what Asian gangsters are gonna act like, or if they had something else.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be curious to see like what lines do they have them read, because typically they would have to read something. And so how do you then like take what they provide you to read and really put like yourself in that role, right? And act that out to get the part. That would be interesting to kind of hear from him.
Yeah, we have lost him. I know he's traveling, and so he had to kind of do it, and you can't tell from his car, and so I know that was causing some problems. But if you are looking to get into film, if you are looking to you know, like break into the music industry, definitely drop some questions and we will see if he can address those questions. I think that he you know, just has a wealth of knowledge that we can really pull from. Let's see. King Lee says there was a Hmong actor in the new Mulan. Is that the Dua? Is it?
No, it's not
Dua?
Dua. No, it's not Dua. There was another gentleman. I forgot his name, but I believe like Hmong American Experience shared his stuff too. I think a lot of people were focused on Dua, but it wasn't. There was another Hmong actor as well. I think he was also an extra.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I definitely, I mean, oh my goodness. Remember Batman? Batman, like, do you remember
Yeah.
I remember I was watching that, and then they were in the basement, and I was like, oh my gosh, like they're talking Hmong, like I understand what they're saying. So that was really cool. I think just to see different aspects of Hmong people in film.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we've got Elvis back.
Yep.
Can you hear us, Elvis?
Do you see me? I don't see you two on the screen.
Yep.
I hear you though.
We can see you. We can hear you.
Okay, yeah. Sorry about that. No, but yeah, it was a pretty simple audition. I mean, I didn't really. I felt like I didn't try too hard, and I think that became the problem later on when I became an actor. Was I think I became unorganic and started trying too hard again, and so I had to relearn. You know, because when I got agents, you know, they're traditional and they have you do things a certain way, and so I had to just kind of learn over and over again to be me again, and so I think that's where I'm back at right now, of like just being Elvis, and I feel a lot more. I feel more comfortable in castings and stuff. So. It's
nice.
Acting's fun again. for a while, I wasn't. So
yeah. All right. So I feel like we've talked a lot about kind of like your past and how you grew up. You know, your involvement with Rare and Gran Torino. But I'm also curious, like, what projects are you currently working on now, and what do you see yourself in the future?
Yeah, so after Gran Torino, you know, I went away from rap for a little bit. I put together a American rock and roll band. We did like folky Americana music. So I started playing guitar, singing and songwriting, and playing harmonica. And so that was brand new for me. It really raised the bar for me as far as a producer. And so it gave me a whole new like a portal and avenue to music and sound and things like that. And you know, now we do a lot of global music, right? From all you know, different parts of the country or different parts of the world. And so I mean, I have a bunch of musician friends all over the place now. You know, Nigeria, Indonesia, Brazil, tons of places. Um, and so I've learned to just be more full of that, because my interests range from like blues, jazz. I love swing. I love, folk and, just classical music and all that kind of stuff as well. So with that, as I started producing records, I recorded in some really cool studios, very high end studios. Chicago Recording Company was a lot of fun. I mean, Michael Jackson recorded in that place. I mean, that's how crazy it is, right? So I got to see some really nice studios, and once I got into the band stuff, it really grew me much more diverse. And it was funny because there were some producers there when I was putting a project together. Um, with a gospel choir, and he said, "Why aren't you producing films, man?" And so from that point on, I was like, "Why aren't I?" He's like, "Your ideas of music are very conceptual. Like it's more than just music. Like you have these ideas. Like you're able to combine all different walks of life and sounds, and it's very like cinematic in your sound. There's always a concept. There's always a direction. There's always different types of engagements and involvement. And so from then on, I already knew that I wanted to direct, but because like following Clint Eastwood and working with him on set, like was like I want to do that too. But it wasn't until someone mentioned it as a constant reminder for me. So in Chicago, I did a short film called Street Boy. It's based off this artist named Sixto Rodriguez. If you know him, his story was called Searching for Sugar Man. He won which won awards at Tribeca and Sundance. Really cool. Really cool documentary, but I kind of wanted to do the real life film of his life, and so I shot a little short on him, and hopefully I want to turn that into a feature down the line. And then I worked on a reality show called In Search of the Great American Street Musician, which is to me like American Idol on wheels. So I wanted to look for street musicians, in the streets and engage with them and tell their backstories. And it's kind of a story of success and survival, and and kind of shedding light on the quiet musicians who don't get the spotlight and give them a platform. I'm still working on that. It's been 4 years. It's slowly developing. We're already in post production, but I just have to put the pieces together. I was moving from there to LA, and I want to build my production company here. That's why I'm in LA. I'm here to act as well, but my ultimate goal, as most people don't know, is for Hanso Productions to be an entire corporate entity, LLC here. So I'm putting that together. And then there's a show I'm working on right now. I can't say the title, but it's perfect timing, and I think if I can pull this off, it's probably going to be a project I'm very proud of. It's about undocumented Asians here in America. I'm really tired of the, obviously we all are tired of the stereotype, but it's more of, I started seeing that, why are they hiring all these musicians and artists from like across the East? Like why is Rich Brian and BTS and all these guys like K-pop, and like why is all that all getting shined? Like there's tons of artists here, you know what I mean? Like we exist here, it's just, but I don't know. It's like America won't give the platform to us and tell our stories as we know it as Americans, right? Um, and so with the pandemic and everything going on and all the violence and blah blah, and to me I was like, I just feel like they don't understand Asians in America. They Akon talked about this, about Africa, because he just built he's building a city called Akon City in Senegal, and he thinks that the concept of Africa is very cliche. He feels like Africa's still really rich and thriving, and the blacks are probably scared to go back, and he feels like people are afraid to show the light in Africa because they want to keep them enslaved and ingrained in places where adds value to them. But he's like, no, there's a home back home. Let's build Africa. He's like, what they make Africa look like is the 1900s. Like it's still Shaka Khan with spears and cheetahs and and like it's uninhabited, uncivilized, Africa from like the 1900s, and safari, in a jungle. But it's like it's not that at all. Africa's really rich and thriving, and he's trying to change the narrative about there is a home here for people. Like where Africa is actually not what they show you on television. And so I kind of took that concept and I said, yeah, exactly. Just like how they still show us like 1900s, like in China, like we're Chinamen and illiterate, and we're, you know what I mean? It's like we're we're in a normal culture just like everybody else. We own tattoo parlors and pub and eateries, and we own, you know what I mean. We own all types of shops, and we're into all types of things. We're musicians, we're athletes, we're all these different things. And so, you know what I mean, like, we're tainted too. We're not the model minority, right? We live in the ghettos. We have our projects, like, you know what I mean. So it's like, yeah, we're in jail all the time. Like, you know, it's not always just clean cut and nice. You know what I mean? Like, we're into our spirituality, our sexuality. You know, like, we're sexy, we're exotic, we're erotic, we're a lot of different things. And so I think this show is to document what is not being showed of Americans. And so I want to take this national to different cities and go to these hidden communities everywhere and document our stories. It's not Anthony Bourdain by any matter. It's much more, you know, it's probably a cross of that and kind of Bling Empire-ish. But, you know, it's for the, you know, it's kind of middle class urban city, kind of who we are in our struggle as normal citizens. It's not this, because it's either, you know, very poor Asians or very rich Asians. There's really no in between. And that's funny, because I feel like our error in being Asian is that we're afraid of the in between, right? We're so busy being left, being right. Oh, we're too white, we're too black. You know what I mean? It's red and blue and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what's wrong with the middle? I embrace the middle. I think it's powerful. I think it widens our scope. Like, we're this all-seeing eye because we don't get to play into all of that or to one side. We get to kind of see all of it. So for all you Asians who think you're invisible because you're stuck in the middle, I say that is a powerful gift, and embrace that. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to show you, because I'm going to take what I learned from the in-between, and I'm going to give you a different lens to see that you are a special kind of species, because we don't get caught in the scuffle unless we choose to be. That's the reason why we don't have an identity and understand who we are as people. For me, break away from that. Embrace that middle, because that will build a foundation for you and establish us as a people and our place here, you know, in society. And I plan to break those barriers. So
yeah, I feel
I'll
like
tell you
that's
the show is at some point. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like that's an amazing project. I feel like I'm really inspired just kind of like listening to you talk about that. So I'm excited to see it. I'm looking forward to that.
Like, so I feel like you are the type of person that sees something and then you're like, I'm just gonna do it, right? Like, and you kind of figure out the how later. And I feel like part of pursuing your passion is seeing the end result and then diving in and then figuring out the pieces later. Do you see yourself that way?
Well, yeah, I mean, even Warren Buffett said, like, I'm the strangest college student ever because I've never been to college, but I still take college courses. And so I'm kind of that guy. I'll figure it out. I'll take whatever courses, and I do take a lot of courses. I'm always paying for some kind of conference, but then I'm learning quick as I go. You know what I mean? You learn a whole lot about it, or you learn a whole little about a whole lot, and you learn to apply it, and then you find the pieces, you know, that are able to put the pieces together. I get bored too easily. I'm too easily distracted, so I can't be in one place too long, or else I'm not operating at my full potential, you know. So I have to kind of, I'm scattered, but I'm a good scattered. Like, you know, Grant Cardone says, like, you know, like, you're supposed to have problems. You know, the goal is not to not have problems, but to be a good problem solver. So the more you can solve problems, the more you would want to invite problems, because you invite problems, that means you're doing a lot of things. And so, you know, then you're on.
Uh-oh. I think we might have lost him again.
Hello? Oh, yeah.
There you go.
So with that, with that, they also say, you know, the average millionaire has 7 streams of income, right? The average billionaire reads 60 books a year, things of that nature. It's like, I have to keep going and keep moving. And so you're right. I do whatever the hell I want. And because I don't seek anybody's consent, I don't apologize for it. If anything, I encourage others to do the same. So,
yeah.
How do you keep that going out? Because that can sound exhausting too, right? Mm-hmm. Like, as you're talking about it, I'm exhausted already. So how do you like keep going, you know, despite being exhausted?
Yeah, and this is something, thank you for bringing this up, because this is something I really, really want to talk to, especially for y'all coming out of 2020. If y'all didn't like 2020, I have to break the news for you. It's probably my greatest year of all time. I thought it was a magnificent year. 2021 is even stronger. So if you didn't come out of 2020 stronger, you got to ask yourself why. And I'm going to tell you why I did. And I think you ladies are doing a great job. And I want to talk specific to my Hmong. And I'm going to go back to what we were talking about earlier with
Uh-oh. You froze again. Sorry.
I felt like it was going to be good.
So no!
Yeah.
Elder.
Before that, you got to be macho and strong all the time, blah, 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 because there will be moments like 2020 where you're trapped inside of yourself. You're trapped in your homes. And if you don't know how to go inside, you're not going to be able to take care of yourself, because there's not always going to be that full-on aggression where it's an open road and you just get to, break things and just, act crazy, right? So you got to somehow center it back to yourself, and that is, tapping into your feminine qualities. We all have it. Yeah, and so it's, you can still be a G. I'm still gangster with it while while I'm still tapping to my feminine side. Ain't nothing soft about that. That's real. Athletes do it all the time. They're always in saunas. They're always being groomed and taken care of. They're always, Michael Jordan won all these rings by manifesting. He had a coach that helped him manifest how to see the victory before he saw it. And so I do a lot of self-care. I take care of myself a lot. I do a lot of meditation. I manifest, I vibrate, I learn about the universe. Shout out to Charm. She was the first Hmong girl I've ever heard talk about quantum physics. So if you don't understand quantum physics, quantum mechanics, and things of that nature, you got to understand the universe and tap in and let it tell you things. And that's why sometimes we're so caught up in our culture. I must talk to the Hmong people specifically. It's cool, you're at weddings and funerals and you have family, but man, a lot of Hmong men in my circle, man. Sometimes you got to get out of that narrative of the patriarchal system of like, you have to be that man. I'm the only son too. I have my parents to take care of, but I treat it differently because I give myself time as well. I'm not a possession, for anybody to possess. I got to take care of me and find a way to balance that out so that I'm still representing my family, right? So find time to step away and find yourself and know who you are and balance it. Like we're so one-sided that we think this is what we're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. You're an eagle, but your wings been clipped, so now you're a duck and you're stuck in a pond full of shit, right? So get your wings back and start soaring again. So, like, find that side of you, you know. And so, but you gotta be still enough. If you can't separate from your environment, you're never gonna find that stillness. You know what I mean? Of like just going inside, because until then, I don't know, like you're not gonna see beyond your means. And so, yeah, I do. I try to eat healthy. I try to work out. I try to take care of my body mentally, spiritually, physically. I study a lot of different religions, a lot of different beliefs, philosophies. Yeah, me and DC, man, we had to talk about this. Like, there's not enough Hmong leaders. Like all we had since our generation was GVP. Nobody, and then we had a lot of people making movements and blah, blah, blah. But I mean, when you understand, like I get a lot of my philosophy from Black leaders, right? See, the Black community, they had their MLK, they had their, Malcolm X, they had their Noble Drew Ali and Marcus Garvey, Elijah Muhammad, So when I study Black, philosophy, people are like, well, why you always study them? That's a Black thing, blah, blah. Well, you tell me who our leaders are. Maybe if we built more leaders, I would have someone to turn to. But, because I got into hip hop and started studying Black history and Black culture, it led me back to my history and who I was. I didn't care for Hmong and stuff, when I growing up, because I was so busy competing, being accepted, and being American and patriotic and things of that nature, right? So I took it out of me, but I had to, through a different group of people, find who I was, and then garner me back to my people as well. So I took on a lot of the leaders, and it brought me to things like self-sustainability, right? Self-reliance, doing for self, right? That's why I don't get over emotional about all these things that are going on, and I don't, you know what I mean? People think I'm unsympathetic and that I don't care and that I don't have the fight in me. It's just like, oh, believe me, it's there. I go about it differently, much differently than you, if you want to criticize me for that. But you won't understand how hard the work is to be that eye in the middle of the chaos, right? Yeah. Everyone wants to dive into the chaos. I step out of it. I observe, and and then I make my moves. It's like playing chess.
Yeah.
So I have one question, one last
Yeah.
So I loved what you were talking about, manifesting and, like kind of speaking it out there. I think a lot of times we get scared to dream big because we're scared that we're not going to meet that dream or make it. So how do you overcome that? Like, how do you think people overcome that and just all your, time pursuing your passions?
Let me tell you this: dream big and then toss that shit. Like, don't delve on that. The biggest problem with people is they validate where they're at. They validate their ideas. They validate the fact that they're dreaming, and their dreams will never turn into a reality because you're sold on the fact that, oh, I'm going to do it, right? It's it's like when we talk about change and blah blah blah, and then we wear the Black Lives and we wear all these slogans, stop Asian hate, blah blah blah, and then we validate that we're speaking up, right? But then we never go out and get the reward that we're actually supposed to get. So be careful to not make it a trend in your life of just now we have terms like boss, like be a boss, or like be woke, or I mean, keep it gangster, blah blah, and we validate that instead of manifesting it and becoming it. So be careful to validate what it is you're speaking of. See, Martin Luther King, and this is my problem, specifically on an activist level, and I'm probably gonna get some shit for this, but my problem with Black History Month when it comes to Martin Luther King is they sell you on "I had a dream." Remember, he went to the mountaintop. That was his last speech. That was the speech that got him killed. That was the speech that got the pastors and everybody turning against him. Martin Luther King was a whole different man at the end of his life than y'all know him when he was at "I had a dream." We done dreaming. We don't want to dream no more. We've been dreaming. It's time we apply and we do, right? And we strategize and we grow into that. I don't consider myself a dreamer no more. Do I dream? Yes, I dream, but I dream and I toss that out and then I go. That's why I don't have a lot of meetings sometimes. That's why I can't sit in circles too long because it's the same repetitive bullshit over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
I'm a man of action. I don't validate the fact that I'm thinking of something, or I don't validate, and I don't tell stories, I create stories. Because I can sit and tell stories about what I did 10, 20 years ago. We can talk about Gran Torino over and over and over. I'm chasing my next gig. I want my next big role. I want my next film. I want to tell that story, not the story of the past. I get it. Facebook has this, the update from when you backtrack to whatever many years ago, and I get the whole, retro aspect of embracing things from the past, and that's cool. Throwback, right? People say throwback, and that's cool. And do that, and always celebrate your successes in your past. It's one thing I love doing too. When people tell me to send out bios and stuff like that, I love it because it helps me self-reflect. When I read my bios over and over and work on them over and over, it shows me how far I've come, right? So there is a big sense of victory there. I get that, but I don't validate that, right? It's a relief. It's rejuvenating, but I don't validate that. It's like I got to leave that behind. There's this next thing calling for me. I want to create new stories, not tell old ones. So, that's the thing with me. I don't like to stay put.
Yeah.
People call me all the time about, oh, hey, what should we do, blah blah. I'm like, here's the thing. Most of us we live in this 10% little barrier where our lives are miserable, but it's like we haven't hit rock bottom, right? So we're in this little tight squeeze 10%, and then we're comfortable enough thinking that that's gonna somehow, propel us upwards. But until we hit rock bottom, until there's nowhere to go back anymore, like no, you can't step back anymore. That's what's going to propel you upwards, and that's why you got to put yourself in uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you this: 90% of the population, they live in that little gap, thinking that it's safe and thinking that that's okay, and then they die that way, right? So let me do you a favor. Let me chop down that 10% and get you rock bottom, so that you can finally figure out what it is and hate your life enough to want to do something about it. Because I lived in that little gap for a long time myself. And it's not a good place to stay. Until I hit rock bottom, I'll know that, what, I got to do everything I can to go right back up. And that's just how it works.
Yeah.
You can't wait till you're ready. You're never ready. You never have it together. You have to put yourself in a position where it, you know what I mean, where it challenges you to want to do something about it. We've been learning the wrong way. Don't focus on your weakness. Focus on your strengths, man.
I love it. Love it. I think you brought up some really, really great points about like dream it, throw it away, take action, and make it happen. And that's truly how you manifest whatever it is that you want to become. You can dream all you want, but if you don't take any action, you're never going to get there. So great message. I love it.
Okay, so we are coming up on the hour. So I guess, Elvis, before we end this, is there any last thing that you want to just talk quickly on?
I just want to say, you know where to find me, people. I'm always open to talk. You know, um, something I'm learning new is that less is more sometimes, and also that um, when your why becomes clear, your how becomes easy. Okay, I never know how I'm gonna do things, but I know why I'm doing them, and when I do that, that's enough for me to just want to go and make things happen. Um, Again, I'm not very academic. I didn't do well in school. All my education came after I left school, as strange as that may sound. And you know, I think it's all inside of us. It's not about. I wrote a post about this before. It's not. I don't feel like it's about being the better version of me. I feel about it's coming back to what I already am, right? It's being, you know, it's um, tracing back to who you already are, and filtering out all the falsehoods that were given to you along the way, you know, because it's all just blockade. It's all just, you know what I mean. It's all that supposedly things that people taught you to learn that you didn't necessarily need to learn about you, because it had nothing to do with you, right? So in some sense, find your way, navigate, bring the compass, the internal compass to navigate yourself back to you, because we are what we already are, but it's and then maintaining that, or versus trying to attain it, because attaining something is a lot harder work than maintaining something. So don't act like you have something to attain when it's already in you. Find it and just maintain it. Quit working so hard to attain it. That's just overwhelming. You're doing too much. And we as a people, when we start building our civilizations, our micro cities, our communities, this is what I'm talking about. It isn't for me. It used to be think globally, act locally. But once I discovered how to do it locally, I switched it into act, think locally, but act globally. So I take everything I already done locally that I know how to do, and now my vision is universal, taking it globally. That's why I'm working out in countries, 30 different countries all across the globe now, which is my nonprofit. And I'm doing business and things out there now. We got banana plantations, rice fields, coconut plantations. We got pharmacies and boutiques and stuff out in Nigeria, Philippines. Probably going to do that in Indonesia soon, blah, blah, right? And so my vision has become more omnipresent. And you can only do that by manifesting.
Yeah.
Okay, we are people. We can only move so far physically. Our body is just a vessel, but if we can't train our mind to think a certain way, we will never get there, because we can only get there, you know, through internal visualizing. All right. So remember, everything you put your mind to, we invent the plane, we invent the car, we invent computers. How do you think they happen? Because those are versions of us. An airplane travels like we travel, like we move. A computer thinks and operates the way we think. There's no way we can create things if they didn't come from our humanness first. So if you think technology and all this stuff is so mind blowing, it's you that did it. So look at yourself as well as being that mind blowing, and learn to tap into you, and you'll operate the same way. These technological devices that you feel are so great, but remember, you are just as great as it, because it came from you, not the other way around. All right. So I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, but
Nope.
that's what I'm gonna close with. Find that side of you. All right. You are an airplane. You are a computer. You are God. You are all of that stuff, because that's how you know what I mean. That's how you mobilize yourself to operate.
Great message to end with, Travis
I'm
or
done.
Elvis. Sorry. Thank you.
I know. I don't think we can say it any better. So I really appreciate all the things that you shared today. I think just your career and all the things that you have manifested and made happen is something that I think all of us can take away and really try to see what it is that we want in our lives, and dream it, like Elvis says, and throw it away, and then get out there and just do it. Without trying, without doing, you never know. And I think here at All That Talk, we really do try a lot of different things, and if it fails, then we move on to the next thing. And so I think that's part of the process, is that if you don't fail, you don't learn and you don't know. And so With that, of course, here at All That Talk, we believe that conversations drive change, and change starts with you. So thank you again, Elvis, for being with us today. Thank you, everyone, for being with us. And as Elvis
Y'all
said,
are doing a great job. It's been an honor. I love watching you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, we'll see everyone later. Bye.
Bye.